Hey y'all, it's Hunter Elliott, rangehot.com. Hope you're well. So this afternoon I'm not really doing a gun video. We're going to talk about the Colt manufacturing no longer making the AR-15 for civilians. There's a lot of information and there's a tremendous amount of misinformation that's circulating the internet. And that's pretty atypical of the way the internet goes. However, I'm going to do my due diligence in an attempt to clear up any of the, well, as my father would say, you got to sift the fly shit from the pepper. So I work with, I'm familiar with several people that work at Colt. I'm friends with a lot of folks at Colt. I've had a handful of conversations with them before and after this deal. And it basically all boils down to capitalism. The civilian AR market has been soft since 2016. That is absolutely no secret. When Donald Trump became president, people were no longer really worried about assault weapon bans and that sort of stuff, so the AR market began to taper off. Before that, the AR market was strong and people bought and overbought. So you had an impending bubble that crashed somewhere around 2016, 2017. You also have a myriad of small manufacturers that got into the game, and by small manufacturers I'm speaking of people that have other manufacturers machine their uppers and lowers. They buy parts kits from Brownells and they got their 07 FFL, and then they're generating ARs that are substandard or whatever, it's irrelevant. So you have a market crash and an influx of manufacturers. It is also no secret that Colt has developed quite a number of foreign and domestic military and law enforcement contracts. And I've seen a lot of people say, you know, getting the easy government contracts, the easy, juicy government contracts. Well, it is evident that those individuals has never attempted to solicit a government contract. To put yourself on a vendor list for the United States government is a feat within itself. It's very difficult. I've represented a couple manufacturers that were attempting to get on those vendor lists, and it's not an easy, juicy government contract like some would allude to. And I'm telling you all this to tell you this. Because of a very soft AR market, the consumers have now began to flock to the manufacturers that are racing to the bottom. And what I mean by racing to the bottom is now you've got manufacturers that are turning out ARs complete for $400. Your average consumer will hold a $1,000 AR in this hand and a $400 AR in this hand, and they're going to look at them and they go, well, hell, they look just alike, so they got to be the same thing. The internet says this one's just as good as the other one, so they buy that. Here again, the uneducated consumer, or possibly the miseducated consumer. Now, I'm not going to get on a rant about the difference between a $400 AR and a $1,000 AR. However, there is a tremendous difference. And when it comes to firearms, ARs, just like a lot of things in life, you get what you pay for. Your $400 AR, well, it's probably going to work for a while. But you have to consider the materials used, the workmanship, the quality of manufacturing, the platings and coatings, all that comes into play when you have to price out an MSRP on anything, ARs included. So now we have the snowball effect of a decreasing AR market, a soft AR market, manufacturers racing to the bottom, the miseducated consumer buying the $400 AR, and now there's a vacuum that has opened up over the past few years for the mid-level $800 to $1,200 AR-15. They're just not selling. However, they're selling to the U.S. government and law enforcement. So Colt has elected to suspend AR manufacturing on the civilian side until the supply catches up with the demand. Those machines now are being utilized, or those machines and materials are now being utilized to manufacture SKUs that are selling better, as well as, you know, they're getting in orders from U.S. governments, foreign governments, law enforcement. And, you know, you're talking about a difference of, you may get a distributor that would place an order with Colt for their trooper for 1,200 pieces. But then you have the U.S. government place an order for 50,000 pieces. Now, you can't run both rifles on the same line. You tool up, you have different parts, you have different manufacturing processes, You have the third pin that has to be drilled, all that sort of stuff. So you have the bean counters saying, well, we can tool up and we can machine these 1,200 ARs that are going to go to a distributor and they're going to sit on the shelf. Or we can tool up and we can manufacture these 50,000 ARs that we've got a PO for, and they're just ready to write us a check. Capitalism. You go where the money is. A lot of people are blaming Colt about being anti-Second Amendment, which is ridiculous. And I've seen where people are saying that, well, Colt is doing this under pressure from the anti-gun lobby to quit making the AR because of this, that, and the other. And that's conjecture. It's nonsense. It's ridiculous. Colt has, even in their press release, said that once the demand catches up with supply, then they will resume manufacturing of the AR. You've got warehouses full of AR-15s in boxes ready to sell that aren't really selling. So good sense will tell you, you don't continue to manufacture those products to go sit in a box waiting to sell when you have other SKUs and other contracts that you got POs for and they're ready to write you a check. In the end, Colt is a firearm manufacturer with a very rich history in America, but in the end they're a business and they got to keep the lights on and pay the bills. Now, a lot of people are talking about the UAW and the unions, and while I do agree the UAW is probably no friend to any of the consumers, contending with unions is difficult at best from what I understand, and they tend to cause product to be maybe a little more expensive due to unions dues and the salaries and this sort of stuff. But if you look at Colt's mid-level ARs, they are not out of the price range of a lot of the other mid-level ARs built elsewhere in the country. So while the UAW may have a little bit to do with the prices in this, that, and the other, I don't think that it's a deal breaker, so to speak. I don't think it's one of those things to where this is the reason. A lot of people are saying, well, Colt should just pick up and move. While I stand behind that, and I believe that's a wonderful idea, picking up and moving a 300,000 square foot manufacturing facility isn't just loading up Uncle Bob's pickup truck with a Bridgeport. It's a daunting task, and in a soft market, all farm sales are soft now as compared to 5 years ago. You don't switch horses midstream. So did it come at a bad time? Yeah, probably so. Is it coincidental? I believe so. I've talked to, like I said, friends at Colt that are in the middle and upper management. I don't believe they're lying to me, and I feel like any manufacturer should be given the benefit of the doubt, and time will tell. If they're lying, if they're full of shit, it'll become evident soon enough. So, as Ben Franklin said, if we don't hang together, we will surely hang separate. So instead of turning your back on Colt or bad-mouthing them or glad to see they're failing or whatever sort of nefarious ideas you may have about a manufacturer, why don't you just wait and see and keep your damn mouth shut? We're all in this game together. We're all allies against the anti-Second Amendment movement. And so when you begin to subdivide yourselves, we become weaker. So why don't you give them the benefit of the doubt? Let's see what happens. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if they hold true to their word. I think at the very least, we as consumers owe them that. If you've got to pin it on one person, whose fault is it really that Colt quit making ARs? Well, it's yours. You quit buying them. You want to see a change? Get your ass out of the gun store, buy an AR. It don't got to be a Colt, but I can attest it. They do make a fine AR-15, and they have a pretty nice array of what you can get involved with, and they are priced competitively. You can choose not to believe me. I'm fine with that. I don't really give a damn. I'm just trying to shoot you straight and dispel some of the misnomer that is circulating the internet. That's all I got. Take care of yourselves and each other. Look forward to seeing you at the gun store.